What's up? What's the word?
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey.
Hey, girl, hey.
What's up, y'all?
CODY with this.
Wildin', man.
Right.
We
I'm
need to
wildin'. I'm mocking BREE. Jody, what's going on, G?
Nothing. Same old. You know, I'm always into something.
Okay. Well, we got you on the show because you into something. You've been doing a lot. You got a lot going on. So for y'all at home that don't know Jody, introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Jody. I am the host of PRHOEVOCATIVE, the podcast. It is a podcast all about sex. I am a certified sexologist as well as a certified fellatio instructor, and I am the resident sex expert at Tease University, which is an all-in-one virtual platform for women to come learn about all things sex, sensual movement, dance, all of that. And yeah, more recently, I am one of the cast members on The Never Ever Mets, which is an OWN and HBO Max TV show.
Yeah. Look, Chris, you had something you want to say?
No,
huh?
I didn't know that like a sexologist was a thing.
Yeah, I got a question about
That's new. I never heard that before.
Let's get into it. So being a sexologist, are there ever services where like you physically have to be there and like show the man and the woman how things is supposed to actually go?
So that is an option. So the short answer is yes. So the same way in which you have fitness coaches, business coaches, life coaches, a sexologist is a sex coach. But I think when people instantly hear the word sexologist, sex coach, it's like, oh, you gonna watch people have sex. Like, man, what? No. So there are a lot of different things when it comes to sex, sexual trauma, sexual education, just being able to process sexual feelings or be able to communicate things that you might not know how to communicate in a sexual context. All of that comes with that. And that is the majority of what I do with my sex coaching clients.
I always wanted to know that. Like,
yeah, and then there's also a lot of it's also a lot of demonstration. So you guys,
it's very hands on.
Yes, and I'm pretty.
You gotta wear gloves.
You funny. So I definitely think that a lot of people have seen sex coaches and sexology. They didn't know what they were seeing. Okay, so sexology is not a new thing. People have been practicing sexology for a while. People have been getting certified in sexology for a while. For example, when you see certified sexperts that are teaching classes on how to ride or how to do couples positions and stuff like that, a lot of these people are already certified sexologists. So they're not just teaching things because like, oh, I did this with somebody last week, let me teach it to the masses. Like, that's not how that goes.
You're actually trained.
Yeah, exactly. So
you know what I think a misconception is with sexologists and people that teach like how to better live the lifestyle. I think sometimes with some people it comes off as what's the word I'm looking for? Not strange. It comes off as like
Creepy.
grimy.
Creepy.
Creepy. Like, it doesn't come off as sensual a lot of the times. A lot of times it just come off as like,
sensual.
This girl crazy. Like, she just want to play with toys and like, you know, like it doesn't come off as like sensual and inviting, which I feel like are two different realms.
I agree. I totally agree. That is why, so for example, I was a podcaster before I became a sexologist. So my podcast was already about sex. I didn't want to be just one more podcaster talking about sex. So I made sure I went back, I did the work and became educated and said, no, okay, cool. Like I literally went through 2 different certification programs. So for a year I was studying before I began to actually, you know, tell people like, look, this is actually my new career field now. You can come fuck me,
Cody.
right? Cody, you got a question?
Right? We in class. Look at us.
All right, so now that you learn that you teaching people how to sex and do the
how to sex is crazy.
and do the nasty. Let me ask you this. All right, so squirting is like a thing right now.
Oh my God.
It's the thing. It's the thing right now.
Squirting has been a thing, but go ahead.
It's like a thing right now.
Since the beginning of time.
But I'm like, no, people like want to. So do you have classes or tutorials to teach men how to make women squirt?
So here's the thing. I don't like that men think that there's something innately that they have to necessarily do to make a woman squirt. Squirt is just another form of ejaculation. So with the right stimulation consistently that is catered to the person that you are having sex with, squirting will 9 out of 10 be a result of it. A lot of women
say that again because men feel like
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Men feel like they have to make you, and it's like, no, I've been in a situation.
Oh, we getting nasty
out of here. Come on, what situation you was in?
And it was like, I probably got sex trauma from it. That's a class. I might need to register one of your sex trauma classes.
Hold on.
I really have. I don't. Shall I tell the story?
We already here.
I want to unpack it not for
this could for educational. Somebody might. I know. I'm not the only person that feels this way. It's another black sister out there that probably feels the same way that I do. Okay, having intercourse, right? And it's happened before. Like it has happened.
Like squirting?
It has I'm not gonna say it, but it has happened.
It happened, okay.
It has happened before. So I don't know if he just thought since it happened before, this just gonna keep happening over and over again. So this particular time, it wasn't happening, but I was still enjoying it. He was so focused on trying to make it happen that I almost got carpet burned. Like it was and he's in my ear like, I want to make you, and I'm just like,
make you squirt.
Jesus, send the police, somebody. Like,
right. A lot of women actually experience that, and then it can be super uncomfortable to have those conversations.
So uncomfortable
because there are a lot of things. Yeah, there are a lot of different things happening in that moment, right? So he is trying to please you, but the way in which he's going about it is wrong because he thinks that the pleasure is tied to you squirting. The squirting is just an after effect of a type of pleasure. It's not the pleasure necessarily, right? Because you can squirt without having an orgasm. The orgasm is the actual heightened sense of pleasure. It's not the ejaculation. Squirt is just another form of ejaculation. You can make someone squirt, like if you just touch the right spot within seconds and it's like, damn, that was quick. And it's nothing, right? Like, that's just what it is. However, when you have that experience where you experience orgasm and you experience squirting at the same time, that is when you're like, oh my God, this is amazing, right? But sometimes we think that whatever that after effect is the actual thing, and it's not. And part of that is because a lot of men, so women, of course, the whole clitoris is literally a pleasure button. That is the only purpose of it to be pleasured, right? Yeah. Versus men where a penis is tied to everything. So it's like your orgasm, your ejaculation, your reproductive qualities, all of that is just the exact same thing. There's no reproductive qualities for a clitoris, right? So men think like, when I have an orgasm, I ejaculate. That's the same thing for women, and it's not. And even men, men are capable of separating ejaculation from orgasm, and that's what a lot of men who practice edging are able to do. So you're able to have an orgasm without actually having ejaculation. That's
you talking about like when they be like not trying to bust, like semen retention and shit?
Yeah. So that's that's one of the benefits of edging. You will be able to have an orgasm and not ejaculate. So you also won't be drained. That draining feeling after, men ejaculate, they won't experience that if they participate in edging for a longer periods of time.
I know a couple y'all that might need to start edging.
I ain't gonna lie though. Sometimes sex just it helps you get good sleep. So sex, that's
that too.
Yeah.
You don't take some melatonin and shut up.
Semen has melatonin in it.
I need melatonin.
It has melatonin in it?
Semen has melatonin in it.
What?
Wow.
Yes, look it up. Look it up.
Almost
semen has melatonin in it.
Oxytocin,
serotonin. It has a bunch of happy things in it that makes you like. So that's why, like, a lot of women after they have sex, they be like, "Oh, just in such a good mood."
So
Right?
somebody swallows.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I ain't said. I swear.
I knew
I
what
be
you was
telling
gonna say.
people like, look, it's an organic version of melatonin. Like, it's natural. It's in there. It's in there. It's traceable too. So yeah.
So basically, if she spit it out, she basically wasting minerals and vitamins.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of vitamins. There's zinc in semen. There's a lot of benefits. There are a lot.
I eat healthy, so I know my
for
shit got
everybody
extra
out there,
for real.
I'm gonna throw up. For everybody out there that's low on funds and you can't sleep at night,
Yo.
You might be depressed.
all you
Why
gotta
you
do is swallow.
Look, think about it like
All you gotta
this.
do is swallow.
You know how
Swallow a little bit.
Yeah, I was finna sell my semen for some.
Yo.
That was for the big commercial. Like I was gonna sell it.
Kick us off.
Look at her face.
Man.
For real. She said it's vitamins and minerals.
That's wild.
This is real life.
I don't know who you are.
Like, you know how doctors say we got sea moss? I got semen moss.
No.
Not semen moss.
It's crazy.
Semen moss.
Semen balls.
Semen moss.
They're gonna take off. They're gonna take our broadcast off.
Hey man, you can
I
make
ain't
some bucks
saying
off
nothing
of
wrong.
it. If you can sell it, go ahead.
For real.
Chris, don't do
I
that.
don't wanna
Do not
I'm
encourage
sorry.
him.
I'm sorry.
Semen mouse. That's gonna go crazy in the streets.
Semen.
That's gonna go.
The logo gonna have like the Z,
wild,
so you
man.
go sleep.
Oh, see, it's a good idea, ain't it?
It's gonna be sperms.
This is so childish. This is childish.
Hey man.
Can we please fix Jody?
Wait, I do got a question for Jody though. I got a question.
Hold on,
for
we
Jody.
want to make sure we can hear her.
Jody, you can hear us?
Yes, I can hear y'all.
Okay.
Why they coming through the... Can we unplug the HDMI and plug it back in?
Plug that part. Plug the HDMI that's in the... Unplug it and plug it back. Maybe that'll work.
Yeah, maybe that
We gonna
works.
see. We gonna
Oh,
see.
man.
So what I was gonna ask you, because y'all was talking about squirt. Squirt is pee though, right?
No,
Or is it not pee?
it's not.
Nephew.
It's not. So here's the
That's
thing.
what I heard.
Yeah, so it does go through the urethral gland, which is the same place that pee travels, but also similar to men. Their pee in their semen goes through the urethral gland. So if you not gonna call,
words.
there are a lot of commonalities between penis and vulva anatomy, but either way, it's not pee. It's just another form of ejaculation, and because it travels through the exact same place as pee, there are traces of pee, but it is not pee.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Okay.
I'm glad you learned something today.
Oh, we all learned something today, ain't we?
Yeah, you learn a lot. I didn't even know all this. Like, this is great. That's why you a sexologist and you teach this at T's University. You
Yes.
Jody.
Yeah.
That's what, like,
Like what? You was smart. You was loyal.
Wait,
Nah.
I got another question there.
go
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm like, all right, so you see, she teach at the university, right?
T's
I teach at T's University. It's an online platform.
It's
Yes.
virtual.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I might do.
It's like ITT Tech. That's not the VRI.
Yo.
Jody, please tell.
It's ITDC for sex.
Guys,
It's Phoenix University.
T's University is a virtual platform. It's a membership-based platform. So women can join and pay a monthly fee, and you will have access to all different sex classes, sensual movement, dance classes, fitness classes, pole classes. So anything that goes into your sexuality, your femininity, it's on the app.
So, what is the ratio of men wanting to learn more about how they can better their sex lives versus women? So, I feel like a lot of the times it's always catered towards women when the men need to understand a lot.
That's a good question. I created my podcast for women. Men are the majority of my audience because they enjoy hearing, being like that fly on the wall type vibe. And I'm grateful for that. Like, I get a lot of DMs. I get a lot of men that reach out to me that ask me like, okay, cool. I want to be able to do this with my partner, my wife, my girlfriend, but I don't want her to take it the wrong way. I want to engage in these different activities, but I don't want her to be thrown off. So how do we go about these conversations? I also throw events, right? So these are a great opportunity for couples to come into the space and then be able to experience demonstrations together. There are a lot of women. There are a lot of women that definitely still need, to be comfortable within themselves to be able to communicate what they do and don't like. But there are a lot of men that are willing to learn.
I like that you do have the platform and you are getting that feedback, because I feel like a lot of the reason why certain men aren't as like elevated in their sexual skill set is because of their ego. They feel like, why am I going to a class to teach me how to have sex? I'm a man, I know how to have sex.
They think that bodies mean like, oh, your experience. Bodies don't mean experience. It's quality over quantity. So you run into a lot of men that just are racking up bodies. Okay. And because women don't know how to communicate what they do and don't like, they just probably not calling you no more. They like, oh, I don't really want to do it again. But you like, oh, I smashed. Move on, right? But you're just doing the wrong thing over and over again. So
no, that's a fact. Like, it was a few things. I'm glad you got to that point. What I was going to say about the class is that you have a class on 6ix9ine. That's probably one of the main reasons why I wanted you to come on this week. So I want you to promote your show in your class, because we supposed to have you on in April, but things got a little rocky.
Yeah.
But 6ix9ine, you got your I don't know how to. I cannot pronounce it for anything.
Provocative.
Provocative is because she got hole in her, so I don't be knowing what.
But you added like something to it.
Phonetically, it's the same. Phonetically, it's the same. He said provocativeness.
You said provocativeness.
I was trying to say hole, and I don't know how to
just say provocative.
No, it's just provocative.
Provocative. So she had her provocative show on 6ix9ine, which ironically is 69. Jody, little freaky. I was gonna say A, but she just be Jody. Like, but she has her show. Has a show that she talked about. Well, she teaches. So at this show on June 6th or June 9th, you're gonna be having these. It's like a class. It's not just you coming and doing like sex toys. There's like a class, right?
Yes. So I do in-person demonstrations. So I show my signature class is called Throat Choreography, because I think that good fellatio should be like a beautiful dance with your throat. So I labeled it Throat Choreography for that very reason. I share my throat choreography playlist. I give people tips on how to create an amazing...
Hold on, what's on it's like Throat Baby and like what's on this playlist?
I'm not gonna hold you. I listen to a lot of Chris Brown. And I listen to a lot of K Camp because I like the tempos. It's a very good rhythm.
Now K Camp, I'm with it.
Tomorrow, send you the link. Hey man.
Yeah.
No, hey, let me ask you this: can we get some some tickets away? Because I think I know some people that how they could probably attend this show.
Yeah.
You let her finish.
Yeah. So yeah, the show, the event is on 6ix9ine. Couples, singles, all are welcome. It is a great time. We do demonstrations, but like I said, my signature class is slow choreography, but I also am a kink demonstrator and I am a kink educator. So I'm into BDSM. So we do BDSM stuff as well. So we give you the proper and safe technique for spanking, flogging, rope play. That's tying people up with ropes. So we give you all of that education.
I'll be into that shit too.
I'm sorry, they talk about hog time, baby.
the rope cool though. I ain't gonna lie, that's cool.
Y'all so childish.
Yeah.
But not getting too much in like what happens in like just my bedroom personally or anybody else's bedroom on here. Cause
hey man,
yeah. It's just crazy. But I do want to speak on, because I do want to speak on what you said about sharing with your partner about the sexual experience and like having that dialect about what you like and you don't like. I think that's a good point to talk on. Also, I want to talk about just for young men growing up, because young men, we are taught like to get bodies, but we understand the quality of the body. You know what I'm saying? Getting the quality of the women you messing with. We don't understand that. Just for personally, my sex life didn't change until I realized that it wasn't about the body and ravishing up and just doing wild you see on porn growing up. My sex experience in life changed when I realized it's about pleasing a woman.
That's why it changed.
Yeah. I tell this all the time, even when women I date. Like when women I date, when we have conversations, we talking and we talk about sex, I tell them like, yo, I can tell you right now, before I feel like the age of 24 or 23, 24, majority of the women I probably had sex with could probably say my sex game was trash. Because my whole mentality of how I approach sex was a lot different then. You know what I'm saying? But when I became a man, you know, they say when you become like a man, you start doing like a man. So I'll act like when I was a child, I did childish thing. When I became a man, I started doing things like a man. So when I became a man and it was a woman that I was dealing with, and this is probably like the first mature, and she was older, but she kind of put me on game about some things. We was talking and chopping it up. And then like how Jody said, just being a fly on the wall, like I personally hang around a lot of women. Like I got my select guys that I kick it with, but I befriend a lot of women because I just like being around. I don't like being around the hard legs. But when I'm around women, I hear what women talk about. Like they say this, or they like this, or they give me game on this. So I just recommend all men befriend women because women gonna tell you like how to treat women. Like I will never get advice about the opposite sex from my sex. Like I'm not gonna go to my homeboys and ask me about a woman, how to date a woman. It's like, nah, bro, I'm not for you. You up out here just like me. I'm gonna go to the girls. The girls is gonna tell me what the girls like, how to be treated to, how to talk to them. Like I got BREE, she be holding me down, telling me how, you know what I'm saying, not to do lame shit when it comes to women. I be
having very bad experiences, and CODY hears about them, so he knows what not to do.
You know what not to do. So that's kind of thing what was in the bedroom. Like it's things change when you start listening to women. When women start telling you like, okay, no, we don't like this, and we do this and do that. So then when you change that approach, it'd be better. So going off to what I wanted to ask you to talk on is what, like, how can men, because some men can probably go their whole life without even knowing that they not that good, right? Or the person that they've been pleasing or their girlfriend, that's a lot of times people step out and cheat. Like what type of advice, tips do you have for couples to like how to break that ice and be like, yo, baby, this is what I don't like. Baby, when you did this, it ain't really feel too good. Can we try this? Like, how can you like start those conversations? Like, give me some tips.
I'm glad we're going in this direction because we do need to normalize having these types of conversations, especially after we have sex, right? We don't really always have aftercare conversations, like checking in with the person that we don't really have those conversations where we check in to see like, how are you doing mentally after we just had sex? Are you good? Was there anything that didn't feel comfortable for you? Because sometimes we don't know if our partner is triggered by something that we did, right? Like it might have been something that you did that was too aggressive in the sexual act, and now that person was uncomfortable, but they don't know how to verbalize or speak up. But when you prioritize the fact that you care about that person beyond the physical, they can open up and be more comfortable and say like, well, you know what? I wasn't really feeling when you stuck your tongue all the way up in there. I don't really like that. Let's not do that again. Let's go about it a different way, right? Or I was dealing with a guy where we made it a game where he would say like, I'm going to deny you this sexual act until you perfect this other thing that I like. And I'm like, oh my God, now it's like a competition because I'm a little competitive. So I'm like, okay, cool. So it would get to the point where I would randomly hit him up on like a Tuesday at like 11 o'clock, like, where you at? Like, come over here so I can do this real quick. He's like, what is going on? But it's like, it becomes a interesting game, right? You can make things fun, right? I would say the moment, what you said was key, CODY. It's not about you. It's not about the man. Right? Because men are going to have a pleasurable experience 9 times out of 10 just off bat. However, women, 80% of women do not have an orgasm or any type of ejaculatory event 80% of the time. 80% of women do not come from penetration alone. So what does that mean? Penetration is not that important. It's not that important. If you want a woman to squirt, if you want her to have an orgasm, penetration is not the end all be all. All of the other things are important. Foreplay is extremely important. Oftentimes we talk about the erect penis, clitorises get erect. Blood rushes to the clitoris when it is ready to have sex, right? However, it's quicker for a man. It's quicker for a man to have an erect penis than it is for a woman to have an erect clitoris. It takes 18 to 40 minutes for a woman to have an erect penis versus a man where it's like, all right, you might
Erect penis?
I mean, an erect clitoris. So it takes 18 to 40 minutes for a woman to have an erect clitoris versus a man where you just instantly, you might say something, you might do something, and like, boom, he's hard, right? Women slow cook, right? Men, microwave, women slow cook. You really have to romance them. You have to really like, all right, what goes into foreplay? Foreplay is not just performing oral. Let's really normalize being creative when it comes to foreplay, right? Maybe you're doing massages. Maybe you're having like real sensual conversations, reading erotica together. Massages, I love a good massage. And a lot of people love good massages, right? So take an hour, play some play music and just set the vibe and just really romance your partner. Because when you do stuff like that, it's gonna be dripping.
Oh, okay.
Before I go, you want to chime in on anything she just said?
No, I was just gonna say. No, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna let you go ahead.
So I'm going to say, like, she hit some key points for me. Like, I think being able to talk, like, that's like the bag right there, right?
Yes.
You have amazing conversation. Like, you men at home watching this, you don't even understand how you can talk your way in and out some vagina. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, saying the wrong thing can talk your way out, but if you saying the right things for a long period of time and setting the vibes, you already like pre-prepping the vagina. It's like, it's that she ready for you. You know what I'm saying? So conversation is everything, right? That's the mouthpiece is strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna get into too much. When we start doing Patreon, I can start talking in depth. But the next thing you just talked about.
He really think he in his bag right now, y'all. Like,
why she hating? She hating. She be hating.
You can just tell
the thing is with BREE, right? I'm gonna tell you right now. The thing is with BREE, this is my homie. This is my dog. She just hate to see it because she know it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't do not know it. I don't.
You don't know it firsthand, but you know you get that look, and she know her homies be looking like that. He one of them. Like BREE got male friends. And she know which one of her male friends one of them and who ain't.
I've heard very mixed reviews about all my male friends. Let me just tell you that right now.
But I'm going to my next thing, right? So, Chris, our favorite intern at the station, right?
Oh wait, man, what's going on?
He said he got something back. Our favorite intern, right? So we at the station. Shout out to Chelsea. If Chelsea watching this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm playing I'm just playing some music. I got YouTube music just on random, right? And it's a Party Next Door song. Come on. And it's not the regular party. It's not the known party. It's like some B-sides party.
Okay.
And he said this is the third playlist.
Damn.
So first of all,
is this the one y'all always talking about?
Yeah.
It's our favorite. Yeah.
Stop talking about it.
Listen to what I'm saying though. Listen to what I'm saying.
He needs a lot of education in the culture.
And that's what I just want to know. So if I was off this, right? First of all, calling me a third was disrespectful. We done it was
sure.
That's how I just understand. Like,
and I'm your boss. Who a third?
Like the generation gap, because how he was explaining the third, I'm like, gee, nah. Me and both Chucks are like, nah. How we use third, that's down to like the fighter words.
Yeah.
But he was saying like having like people don't listen to like certain R&B songs and stuff like that. We listen to the right songs that everybody know. If you know the music, the B-sides to certain things that makes you a therm, that's like extra sensitive and stuff like that.
That's insane.
What?
I feel like I connect with a lot of men if you know the B-sides to some of my favorite artists, especially R&B artists.
And I felt like that's how you set the vibes, though, right?
Yeah, it is how you set. But he's young. Why would you bring this? That boy is young.
Nah, he needs some help.
He definitely needs some help. Like, stop talking to him.
He like a wild child. Like he really needs some education on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he needs education.
Wait, so
I really felt offended, bro.
Because he calls you a third.
No, because I really wanted to play this to like some women, because my whole thing was just like, yo, and like young, like the people my age, too, guys my age. My whole thing is when I was trying to explain to them, like, yo, I listen to this type of music because now, like Drake say, I make music for men that get women, right? Personally, I'm listening to certain music. These are the music that, like I say, I be around women. I set the vibe, so this is they like. Mm-hmm. I be wanting to know, like, what's this new generation? How do they like? What's they setting the vibes?
They
like,
go to
what's
Pound
they
Town.
Like? What is that like?
Just
like,
left Pound Town.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know many people still doing like turning on music when they do it. I think it's more just like y'all just chilling and then like y'all watching the movie and y'all just end up
getting
just
into
keep
it.
having sex to Netflix is crazy.
Hey,
lo-fi playlist is a thing. From what my understanding, I'm not old, but I'm like a TT. I ain't an auntie, but I'm a TT. Huh? Lo-fi?
That'd be crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
They be like, I know people that be like putting on lo-fi
study music.
playlists, and they just be like,
Yeah, that's like.
what I know, what I was told.
I was took back a little bit. Like, what's going on out here in these
I don't
streets?
know. I don't think I can only speak for myself, but I don't really like play music. I just.
But to set the
But also,
vibes,
but
though.
like,
a lot of people are auditory. A lot of people are auditory, and they get turned on by sounds. And it's important to know that sex is not just about private, right? It's about the experience, the full experience. What do you hear? What do you smell? Why do people light candles, right? Why do people dim the lights? There's a reason behind these things because we are engaging our senses. Okay, so we're not gonna sit here and act like, all right, we're not supposed to hear nothing when we have sex. Like, no, that's not how it's supposed to go. You might want to hear something soft playing in the background. Of course, you're not listening to the song singing it while y'all doing it. Like, that's not what you're doing. However, music makes a lot of people feel good, and you have to know what you're dealing with your partner.
Even if it's
I like to dance. And because because I like to dance, I am huge on music. And I bring that into situations. And then people are like, man, you really just created a whole little performance. And it's like, yeah, you're going to remember that. Versus this person, I don't want us to get lost. Let's not lose the art of sex, right?
Yeah.
Because it is an art. It's an art.
And that also goes back to what you said earlier. You didn't understand what it meant to really please a woman and how to have like a full sexual experience until you was a certain age. I seen dude on FaceTime before. He ain't getting no.
That's the love.
He ain't getting no.
I ain't gonna trash the love so much, but that's the love.
I don't know, shorty. He ain't getting no.
But that definitely be taking me back, like, yo, because I remember when I was in high school, right, and my big cousins and them, like, they was out doing their thing, right, and they used to crack jokes like, oh yeah, you gonna have to eat vagina to get sex, or you be kissing girls and stuff like that, like all that makes like the art of sex pleasurable was all shit growing up that they shun.
Yeah, I hate men that say they don't kiss women. Like, if you willing to stick your penis in somebody, but you don't want to kiss a woman, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
really crazy.
That's very
for me, it's the men that want oral but don't want to give oral. Like, are you out your mind?
Okay. And then when they give it, it's trash.
It's
like,
bad. It's bad.
Y'all need to call Jody.
They cat licking. They be out here cat licking, talking about some
literally.
I don't do this for everybody. I hope not.
Like a little, okay, it'd be like a little parrot, like a parrot picking up a seed. Like, That's how my birds used to eat their seed.
Wow. That's crazy. Oh, wow.
That's for real, child. Okay, so how does? Because I've had some bird seeding experiences in my life. How does one get comfortable enough with a guy to let them know
it's not good?
This is how you could better it for me. Without bruising their ego.
Yeah. So what I like to do when I start those conversations is I lead with something that they really good at. You got to sandwich it in, right? When I really love when you take initiative. You start, like, I love how you start and initiate sex with me. I love how sexy you make me feel. But I would prefer if when you are performing oral on me, you focused on the clitoris. Or you kiss my thighs real slowly first and then you went into it. Ease me into it. I would prefer something like that. And then it's like, all right, if you leave with what they great at, typically the whatever feedback you give them, they'll be a little bit more receptive to it, as opposed to saying like, I don't like when you do that. Like, nah, like ease them into it. And then I think, or even if you say like, man, it'd be super sexy when you do this. What I would absolutely love would be if you were to go about this other thing this way. That's what really turns me on. And then if they are someone who genuinely cares about how they're performing, they'll instantly correct it.
Let me ask you this. What's the misconception between porn and demonstration? Like, because some people, like how you say you do live demonstrations, you do act, you teaching people. One might say, yo, I can just watch porn to learn how to do this and do that right. Like, can you break down the difference between the two for the people who watch?
Yeah, so I'm an educator. So I don't just grab a dildo and shove it down my throat. That is not what I'm going to do, right? So what I do is I talk about the anatomy, right? I give you the education behind the strategy. So I say, okay, if you want to pleasure your male partners in this way, understand that the sensitivity is around the corona and at the frenulum. And if you focus there, he might tap out quicker than you want him to. So if you don't want him to tap out too quick, you need to pay attention to one of my cheat codes is watching a man masturbate, because now you know his natural rhythm, right? What you're trying to do is mimic his natural rhythm with your mouth. And that is why I like playlists.
Yep,
because if you pay attention to the rhythm, and again, you catch that beat. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. So when you are that in tune and you want to please someone,
that's crazy. Like jump rap is crazy.
It is though. That's true because
why? Why is it true?
No, because here's the thing. In the same way.
No, that is true.
But here's the thing. I tell people all the time. In the same way, there are a lot of men out here giving bad head. There are a lot of women out here giving bad head. In the same way that women might not want to bruise a man's ego, men don't be wanting to bruise a woman's ego. They be like, well, it's in her mouth, so I'm happy. Right? Mm-hmm. However, they not necessarily telling them like, you know what? You might be using too much teeth. You might be, just over slobbing and it don't feel good. Like what's going on here, right? So men have their own kind of, issues when it comes to being on the receiving end of oral sex, and they too aren't speaking up.
So
I think women get on purpose though.
Sometimes y'all get on our nerves and we be like, all right.
And they be like, all right, dang. Like, what? Don't do that. And I tell people, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Because the worst thing you can do is have a bad performance and think that when he wants to do something for you, he's going to, here I go. I'm going to give you, 100%. Mm-hmm. Like, no. Whatever energy that you want to receive in a bedroom, you have to be prepared to give that. So I'm not someone that advocates for pillow princesses and going to Pound Town. And no, if you want to have a good experience, both of y'all have to be accountable.
I hate pillow princesses for sure.
So is it not successful if a man doesn't?
Oh, that's a good question.
Ejaculate.
That's a good question.
Not necessarily. And men cannot ejaculate while receiving oral for a couple different reasons, right? It might be, because here's the thing, nothing feels better than your vagina anyway. Like so what we're doing with our mouth is trying to replicate what our vagina feels like, right? Or what their hand feels like, because we're paying attention to the firmness that they have with their hand. The firmness of your vagina, like I'd like to do the finger test. You stick your finger in there, squeeze, boom. That's how tight you should make your jaws when you perform an oral. Another tip.
How much is the subscription?
They're over here like, wow.
I'm about to do some sponsorship.
Yes. But what you're trying to do is replicate that, right? You're trying to replicate the wetness, the warmth, the tightness with your mouth. The closer you get to that, that's how more likely he is to come. So it doesn't mean that you're doing something bad. Men in the same way. So for example, I tell women, like, think about when you are receiving head. Typically it's that one thing that if he just stays right there, don't move and keep doing it, that's it. right? It's the exact same thing with men. And what oftentimes women will do is they gonna try, like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and now I'm gonna switch over here, and now I'm gonna do this. Oh, I'm a job tired. Now I'm over here. Like, just be consistent. And if you do that consistently, whatever that one thing is that he likes, because the same way women like different things, men like different things. Men don't always want you to deep throat them, right? There are some men that's like, no, you focus on the head and I'm straight. But other men are like, no, I want to feel the entire thing. Or some men like, I really need you to play with my balls. Like, I really want you to, there are different things that different men like. So you have to always be coachable. I preach that all the time. You have to listen to your partner. You have to pay attention and ask them. It's super sexy when you down there and you say, like, you like this? And he be like, oh man, stay right there.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, that's she said. She just said some shit with that one. Oh, I ain't gonna lie. Talk to me. Look me in my eyes.
Yes. Yeah. That eye contact. Yeah.
Eye contact, get some bills paid.
CODY, you still gotta work with these people in this room.
But no, because I gotta get out there. She right. This ain't Patreon.
Let's talk about the own.
I'm finna say something else, right?
Okay.
Before we get to the own show, because I want to be able to clip this up. I want to get us out of here.
Yeah.
How important is it to know, for people to know, because you're a sexologist, because we don't want people out here having bad sex and having bad experiences, because that could be the love of your life. I think that's probably one of the main reasons why we have unhealthy relationships and not failed marriages, because people don't even know how to get this right. You know what I'm saying? How important is it to know that what you do for one person won't work for everybody?
Extremely important, right? Because again, I referenced it earlier, different people have different traumas when it comes to sexual experiences, right? You might run into someone where it's like, oh, I want to keep going down on them, but you don't know that they have a history where they actually don't like that at all. There are men and women that will prefer to only give and not receive whatsoever. Right? So when you have these conversations with your partner and then you kind of understand, like, okay, cool, they like doing this for this reason. So I'm notorious for asking, like, well, tell me more, right? Do you like this? Do you like that? If there's something you don't like, please tell me why, right? I'm not trying to force you to do something that you don't like, but I want to understand more so that I don't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to understand you more and what pleases you. So I need to understand what you don't care for or what you don't want to do sexually, so that I'm not doing anything to kind of trigger you in different ways. So it's all about understanding that every time you have a new sexual experience, you have to be open to whatever that experience is going to be between you two. And once you have that mindset, you can have good sex with anybody. Like, you'll never run into a bad sexual experience, because you're always like, okay, cool, I see that they like this, let me focus on that, because you're also having these conversations.
Before we get into the show, the clip, with the show, what do you have any statistics? I can't say this word. Statistics of y'all know I got a speech impediment. That too, I'll take that. What are the stats of couples that have good sexual chemistry in relationships that stay together, opposed to the ones who don't? Like,
oh, I don't have the stats off the top of my head, but it's high. When you communicate with your partner and you're open and honest, especially if, like, for example, in the lifestyle, like people that engage in like polyamory and different alternatives to monogamy, they have very high success rates, because the premise of their relationship is all about honesty and transparency. So they are able to have these conversations a little bit more comfortably, because they are they're having conversation with each other. They know what turns each other's on, but then they also know that if I'm not willing to do this, my ego doesn't get in the way from you having this sexual experience with someone else, as long as it's within the bounds of what we deem as respectable and acceptable. So the key thing here is to always make sure you guys are on the same page. So being honest about what your hard nos are, what are your boundaries, what are your limits, and then having a plan in place for, if I don't want to engage in this sexual activity, but I don't want to deprive you of it either. A lot of people say, like, well, I'm not doing it, so the expectation is that you don't experience it at all. And when the expectation is that someone doesn't experience something at all, now that resentment builds up. So now it's like, man, you don't suck, but you over here, then you over here. Like, every little thing begins to irritate you about that person. And then it's like, you don't do this. Like, so it gets it gets super frustrating, right? Especially from a sexual perspective.
That can translate to the rest of your relationship.
Yep. So how you do one thing is how you do a lot of things. I don't want to say all things, but it really do be all things. So if you are open-minded, if you do communicate well, that translates into everything. So the people that the couples that are very open and honest and transparent with each other, and they explore sex together, they are able to have higher success rates. On the flip side, the people that don't really know how to communicate, they just only talk to their friends about what's going wrong, don't know how to communicate with their partner, those are the ones that typically don't last.
All right. So we can get into the show. So, you getting on the show.
Yeah.
This is a real show because the show... Let me tell you something about what I saw about this show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so from my understanding, because I haven't fully watched the entire show. So the show is you were virtually dating someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put all the virtual couples into one house.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all don't even get to warm up. Yo, man, just there.
And it's a bunch of strangers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about how you can't spend the night with me more than one day. You gotta live in a house with this man.
Bree, me and you here because that literally, and I didn't know that going in. That's not something
they never told you that.
No. So if you pay attention to the first episode, when I walk in the house, because I was the second person to get to the house, and I saw the first person that was there was Shay, and I saw Shay. You could see on my face. I'm like, hey, because I'm confused. Because what is going on here? Then more people get there, and I'm like, what is going on here? I'm over here like, it took a while for me to even be able to process that, because one, when I don't live with people. Like, I don't live with, and I've never lived with a stranger. Like, when I went to college, my roommate was my best friend from high school. Like, I had never lived with strangers. So that within itself, women know how other women are. You might do something weird with toilet tissue or stuff in the bathroom. Like, I don't like I was already thrown off from that. But then also the person, like, again, you don't ease up to the person that you date. And it's like, boom, now all y'all live under one roof. And I am over here like blown away because I never lived with a man, period. Like, I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, it was different.
So the premise of because it was just giving social experiment, like the circle and what's that, true match and things like that. So what was the premise of this particular experiment?
Yeah, so
can y'all just survive by being thrown into the room? Like,
that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it felt like. So you go from virtual dating to meeting the person that you've been dating in real life and see if the connection has remained. However, for me, I felt like it was an accelerated experience that I became instantly like not knowing how to process everything that's happening. Because again, like now I've been in 2 long-term relationships, never lived with them. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with not living with somebody I'm dating because I like my space. I just don't need it, right? When we see each other, we see each other. We don't have to be around each other every day because I feel like if I'm around you every day, we're probably going to break up sooner. And that's been my experience. So for us to literally go from like being on like only FaceTime, social media, phone calls, all of that, and then now we live with each other, that was a huge jump. And
I think that's a big misconception with reality shows too, because even when you think about like Love is Blind and shows like that, like a lot of these shows are over a span of 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Like, we get the episodes every other week.
By week.
We're thinking it's like, oh, they've been getting to know each other for like 3 weeks, and then by the time they get together, it's been like 2 months. No, it's been like 8 days.
That's exactly. And it's like it's been so.
No, I did not know that. So how long you and this dude was DMing virtually?
I was gonna say that.
Yeah. So so it was about so before we were communicating for 3 months, about 3-4 months.
Oh, well, y'all know each other.
Yeah,
3-4.
Y'all kind of.
Did they set you all up, or was this?
No. Yeah. So he brought the opportunity to me. He told me like, oh, it's this opportunity. Apply for it. We gonna see what happens or whatever. The casting process, I want to say.
But you all were already virtually dating.
Yeah, so we had already connected on Facebook. And he told me that he found out about it. He reached out to me and said like, "Oh, you want to do it?" At the time, I was actually in Miami somewhere. Like I was doing my thing. Like I said, I'm always doing something. I was actually at Exotica teaching. So I'm in Miami, and he's like, "Yeah, do you have time for a quick phone call with this casting agent or whatever?" And I was like, "All right, whatever." Like I'm someone that's like, okay, like I'm kind of a down for type person. So I'm like, all right, whatever, let's do it. And we got casted, and then they was like, yeah, so y'all really can't meet each other. Like y'all have to wait until the show to meet each other. So then they flew us out to California, and we was in the hotel, I want to say, for like 4 days before we even got to the house. So we quarantined in the hotel. Can't go nowhere, can't do nothing. I'm stuck in a hotel for 4 days. I'm irritated because I'm from Chicago. The food in California is not Chicago food. So I'm kind of I'm irritated. So then we finally get to the house, and they like, all right, cool. Y'all gotta it's a kitchen. Y'all cook y'all food, whatever. But it was definitely a social experiment. Like that's what it felt like. It felt like I was in an experiment.
So what did you take away from it? Like what's something positive that you learned from the experiment? Besides you don't want to do it again, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I took away that people are super weird. And when you watch the show, because again, like I'm being from Chicago, I move a certain way. I'm not someone that's quick to open up and trust strangers. I don't know y'all. And y'all over here in my face like, oh my God, so tell me about, I'm not telling you nothing. I don't know you. And that was kind of like, again, my Chicago head on a swivel type, vibe or whatever. When I did, kind of like, oh, okay, I can recognize this type of personality. I can warm up to you over here. I can warm up to you over there. As soon as I start warming up to people, now they want to flip the narrative and say like, oh, well, she really don't like the guy she with. She actually like this other person because we laughed. Like, so it's super weird and it's super messy. It was given high school. I got into it with the oldest couple in the house. And what was crazy about that is it's like I get into it with y'all because y'all keep putting my name and stuff, and I don't even talk to y'all. So how y'all got something to say about somebody that doesn't talk to y'all? Like I don't talk to y'all about anything. Like
you ready to scrap on TV?
But it seemed like shut up.
What about the
y'all gonna see come episode 3, I was up in there yelling at people because y'all messing with me.
Your partner was not the other guy from Chicago. No, I did see that clip where you was like, hey, okay.
Right, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So even after episode 1, they was trying to say, oh, she liked him. It's like, y'all don't know Chicago vibes.
Right.
Y'all clearly don't know Chicago vibes because that was very much like, that wasn't like, no.
He say from Inglewood, you like,
Exactly, like, I'm from 67th to Honorary. Like, you say you from Inglewood, I bet. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? So in that moment, it's like, I in that moment, I was like, oh, I was able to like feel some sense of home. They took us away. Like we were just in a hotel for 4 days. Now we in this house with a bunch of strangers. So anything that feels like home, anything that feels familiar, why wouldn't I? You know what I'm saying? Like
it's not.
Be receptive to that.
Yeah, I don't think people really. As much as people talk about down on Chicago and like how they like to try to like just talk shit about us, I don't think they understand like how genuine like, that Southern hospitality that we have for people in our city. We might not have it for people that's not from here, but
we have it for each other, especially when we're not here.
Especially when we're not here. Especially when we're not here.
So did Did you have your own room or did you stay with him?
I gotta watch this show.
Yeah, you gotta watch the show. So basically what they did was they put, so it was 7 couples. So they had 7 women in like this dormitory big room basically. So that felt like boot camp.
I thought you was gonna say they had you with your man. You couldn't even be with your man.
You couldn't get
call Oprah.
Yo.
She bogus.
It was
get
7
days for 3 months. I'm sleeping in the room.
Wait, so how was y'all
having
having sex?
The name of the show is The Never Ever Met. The name of the show is The Never Ever Met. But again, it's like it wasn't the fact that the rooms were separate, because here's the thing. You don't know if this person is a weirdo in real life. Like, this is not my first time having conversations with somebody online and then meeting them in person, right? So I've had situations where online, because I was actually in a relationship with someone for a couple years that we met on Instagram, and then we eventually met, and then we were dating, and we got into a full relationship. So this is not my first rodeo, right? I feel like a lot of us are thinking online dating and they're like, oh, you went on Tinder or something. Like, no, if you meet someone through social media and then y'all eventually link, guess what? That was y'all first connection, right? So it wasn't necessary. I had an experience where I had met somebody online and then like I met them in person. I was like, oh my God, you are a weirdo. Like super weird, like super awkward. And sometimes you can't pick up on it. So for me, being in the house, again, it could be somebody that I know in real life. I don't want to live with them. So now it's like we were dating virtually or conversating, because I never really used the terminology dating. I said we was talking. Mm-hmm. They used the terminology dating. So that's why, it is what it is. But to go from that, and then now we under the same roof, and now I'm seeing all the different stuff that you do. And I'm like,
what was he from?
He's from Chicago, but we didn't meet that way. He moved to Atlanta for college, so he's been in Atlanta for like a very long time.
Okay, let me ask you this question. I'm getting your business. So this whole time while y'all was virtually talking,
did you meet Oprah?
Was you faithful during this virtually talking period, or was you cyber DM somebody else?
Don't cyber DM and.
Would you like other people? Would you like other cyber cheating?
Was I
literally just said that they weren't dating? They were.
Was y'all exclusively virtually dating?
Was I exclusively talking to him? No, I was not exclusively talking to him.
She just said that.
Why you up there?
I feel like you should never exclusively talk to somebody that you just talk to over the keyboard and over your phone.
I'm not really that fond of exclusively talking to anybody. Whether you exclusively talking, exclusively dating is one thing.
Definitely said that talking and dating to her are 2 different things.
Okay.
That's why I didn't know. Right. That's why when you asked the question, I was like, she just said that.
No, I feel it. I got a homie though. Your
homie is a simp.
He really feel like, yo, if I'm talking to you and I'm dealing with you, you can't deal with nobody else.
That is insane.
I ain't gonna lie.
I get the moment you apply for a job, do you think you're the only applicant?
Nah, that's how I think. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I feel like
once you get the job, you get the job, and now you go over the job description and what's the responsibilities, and that's that. But I feel like we try to force monogamy on situations that were never meant to be monogamous to begin with. When you talking to somebody, you just getting to know them, and guess what? I might not like you like that, and that's cool. That's cool if I don't like you. Or I might
just want to take a little bit of extra time to get to know you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but then also it's like when you talking to somebody and you're getting to know them, right? You're also categorizing where you want them in your life. I might decide that we really should only be friends. Why would I stop talking? Am I gonna do the same thing with all my other friends? Once I get a friend, I'm not gonna have no other friends. Like, we only do that in romantic settings, and then we wonder why we be miserable with the person we chose, because you was trying so hard to be monogamous. Like, it's not that deep. It's not that deep.
Nah, clip that up, because y'all be trying so hard to be monogamous, and it don't be that.
Be trying so hard to be monogamous, but then
I'll be willing to be trying hard to be monogamous.
It be men and women. It be men and women trying
so hard to be monogamous.
However, you don't even want to you don't even want to fulfill all of the roles in the job description so that I don't have to go out here and be looking for other stuff. So.
Okay.
You know what I'm gonna do? I've been watching Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, and he been talking about that, like make sure you fulfill the roles. So I'm gonna learn how to do like hair and nails. So
you don't need nobody.
So yeah, do last shit because shit is a big cost. But if you want me to fulfill the role, I could do all that.
I don't think nobody is gonna let you do their hair, Cody.
That's right. I can be an esthetician. Yeah.
Esthetician is crazy.
Cody.
Yeah, I can line it. Cause you know some girls be having a little shit.
The audacity of you talking about lining anybody up is crazy.
All right, that's great. But nah, this is a good combo, man. Like, so Jody, how can they find you and what you got going on next? And
yeah, sure. So my Instagram is JODYPRHOE. Again, the name of the podcast is PRHOEVOCATIVE. That's PRHOEVOCATIVE. A little background on why I named provocative and spell it the way I spell it. I took the word provocative and made it more provocative by sticking a trigger word in it. A lot of people see the word hoe and then they're like, oh no, like not me, right? However, the word hoe was literally used to kind of like humble and demean and belittle people, right? It's meant to be an insult. However, insults lose their value when they don't mean anything, right? So, for example, if somebody insults you in a different language, but you don't understand and it doesn't resonate with you, does it have the same meaning, right? It doesn't. It means nothing, right? So, the word hoe, of course, depending on who's using it, 9 times out of 10, they don't actually know if you're a hoe for real. They just using it as a way to shut you up. Anytime I've been called a hoe, somebody couldn't name 2 people I've had sex with. So it's like there's literally no proof behind your usage of the word. So again, it means nothing. When we began to normalize not being offended by the word hoe, it loses all of its value. So on my Cheddar Bob type, on my 8 Mile type, you can't say like, oh, I live in a trailer. Like, nigga, I said, so it don't matter. Okay. Right, yes. But that's provocative is all about all things sex. If you're interested, it is on all of the streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Recently started my YouTube channel, so I'm getting caught up with all those episodes. If you are on Apple, there is video. So you'll be able to see the video on Apple Podcasts if you tune in that way. And then, episode 8 of the Never Ever Mets is coming out this Friday. We have the Provocative Party on June 9th. Tickets are in my bio. If you go to Instagram, you can literally find everything that I'm into. I am working on I'm in discussions with some other podcasts that are coming to Chicago and doing more opening acts. So I've done that before as well. Like I perform at other people's live shows in addition to any live shows that I've done with FC Network. So yeah, it's always something with me.
Well, it was good talking to you, girl.
Yeah, y'all were great.
We're going to chat more, Jody. We appreciate you chiming in, man.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Shout out to Forever Shot, Never Shot, them the homies.
Yes.
All right.
Hey. What's up? What's the word?